I wasn't planning on having
Take a look at it, see if you want to have
Full house.
which
just the big
one.
numbers.
Okay. Call meeting to order. Shelley, can you do roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. District 1, Councilman Rios is en route. District 2, Councilman Pastor.
Here.
District 3, Councilman Latham.
Present.
District 4, Vice Mayor Stapleton.
Here.
District 5, Councilman Gonzalez.
Here.
District 6, Councilman Chipley.
Here.
Mayor Gameros.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Chief, can you lead us in the invocation, please?
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful unto Thee for all those things that Thou hast blessed us with. We're grateful for this community, for those who serve within it and those who continue to serve their fellow men. We're grateful for all that we've been able to accomplish. We pray for those that still have much to do. We continue to pray for our community that we'll be able to recover and that those who have needs will find the means to meet those needs and that they'll be able to sustain their families and continue to be a part of our community. And we pray for those who are mourning, who are suffering, and would ask that Thy comfort be with them. Please bless these proceedings as they go forward, and these things we pray in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Fernando, can you lead us in the pledge?
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started with a summary of current events, I want to recognize Mayor Madrid from Miami. We also have Brian Sepula from Resolution Copper. I want to acknowledge you for being in our audience today. Thank you. We'll start with a summary of current events, and we'll start with you, Mike, down there.
Mr. Mayor, where do I start? I mean, it's been a busy week for all of us. We're trying to work for our community and make sure everything's covered. And I would just like to let John know that his staff is doing a hell of a job out there, and everybody that works for the city is doing a hell of a job out there. It's just really good to see. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Jesse?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to recognize the incredible city staff, council, and the many volunteers who've worked tirelessly through these floods. To our first responders, public works crews, your long hours and sacrifices have kept the city moving. We still mourn the 3 lives and hold their families in our hearts. To our business owners and residents who continue to stand side by side, your resilience defines Globe. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's donated to the United Fund of Globe Miami, and to our community partners stepping up in big ways. Let's stay vigilant, stay united, and keep working towards recovery and long-term flood mitigation. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Jesse. Mike?
Yes, Mayor. Excuse me. I just have one thing. I wrote a couple paragraphs that I'd like to share with everybody. I just want to take a moment to thank our incredible city staff for all the hard work that you put in over the past few weeks. These storms have taken a real toll on our community, and yet every single one of you from every department, that means every department, not just Public Works, but PD, fire, everybody in our staff. And yet every single one of you from every department has stepped up and gone above and beyond to help us through. Some of you have been out in the field clearing debris and working on tough conditions. Others have been behind the scenes, coordinating efforts, managing resources, and making sure our city keeps running smoothly. No matter your role, your dedication and teamwork have made all the difference, and we see you. We appreciate you, and we thank all of you. I also want to take a moment to recognize the many volunteers who have stepped forward, neighbors, community groups, and even people from out of town who came to help clean up and do the recovery. And at one point, we had over 3,000 people downtown helping us. Not only downtown, but on like Just Hayes Road and what have you. And your compassion means more than words can express. Together, we faced a lot, but I know that together, we'll rebuild what we lost and come back stronger than ever. That's what Globe's all about. Thank you all for your commitment to our city and to one another. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Mariano?
Mr. Mayor, the incident management team did a report out last week, and I attended that one, and they did a great job of recounting what they did. I feel that they did a wonderful job. I got up at the end to answer a few questions representing the city, and I have to report that I need to make an apology to ADOT as to who built what bridge. The bridge on Cottonwood was built by ADOT, and then the Reese Canyon Bridge was built by City of Globe. I wanted to apologize to ADOT for that. I got my facts backwards, and being 70 years old, I think I'm entitled to a mulligan, so I apologize for that. But I would like to join the rest of the council in thanking everyone who's come to the aid of the City of Globe, Town of Miami, Healy County. They all came to offer their help, and it was very heartwarming to see. We've met a lot of people across the last 3 weeks, and we thank you all for coming. I especially want to do two things: to acknowledge that in this particular response, we have lost 3 lives, and we will use that memory to drive forward to make it a better place to live and to try to do the things that we need to do to make the infrastructure better. I do want to give a shout out to professional colleagues who have come from all over the state and the nation to help the county and the city's emergency operations centers. I thank you for being here. It's been a great experience meeting you and working with you, as well as the mass care people that have come from around the nation to help out this region. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariano. Fernando?
Well, I'm not 70, but I should get a mulligan once in a while too, so. No, just thank you to everybody that stepped up and really helped. It's amazing when we get down and have something happen, how people come together, so it's just been short of amazing. And I keep getting calls every day about what can people do, how can they help, and so we're trying to direct as many of them as we can to United Fund, because that would be the one that's, the money is assured to stay in the area, and there's a lot of other great organizations that are helping us, but they have a much bigger responsibility, so we just kind of thought United Fund was a way to funnel them. But all of those organizations that are helping us we're very grateful, and they by all means need all the help they can get. And I have nothing else, Mayor.
Thank you, Fernando. I just want to announce that I forgot, but tomorrow's my coffee with the mayor at Copper City's Coffee. That event will still go on at 1 o'clock. If anybody wants to attend, where we can do one-on-one talks. My vice mayor will be there also for any information. And Mariano, thank you for correcting that ADOT,
Sure.
mistake. And really, ADOT was really a conduit that brought the funding to the city.
Yes.
In order for the city to hire a contractor and a designer to build that building. So thank you, Mariano, for that. I would also like to read a statement that I prepared for tonight. I'll start with these past 2 weeks have been an emotional and a physical roller coaster for our city and our entire community. Our thoughts remain with those who lost their lives and with the families who continue to grieve. We have transitioned through many phases, from initial search and rescue to cleanup, to recovery, to assessment, and here this past weekend, to protecting and preserving the progress we had made so far. And now again, we're back to recovery. The amount of cleanup that has taken place would not have been possible without the incredible effort of so many volunteers, both from our own community and from all over. Too many that we can thank right now. To each and every one of you, thank you. To our police and fire department, thank you for continuing to protect our residents and their property through it all. To our Public Works team, thank you for addressing debris, water line breaks, sewer line breaks, and so much more, all while working with limited staff. To our administrative staff, starting with our city manager, Paul Jepson, who was out there also shoveling and squeegeing out of businesses. Thank you for holding the teams together, staying organized, completion of initial assessments, and keeping lines of communication open during this crisis. To this city council, for the continued support throughout this whole ordeal to keep things moving. All these teams and individuals have worked tireless hours over the past 2 weeks, often with very little rest and any time off. Their dedication has been nothing short of extraordinary. We are relieved that the historic rains brought by Hurricane Priscilla and Raymond have finally moved on from our community. While the challenges are not over, we now look ahead with hope and determination. To the small group of individuals who have chosen to place immediate blame and contribute to a negative atmosphere during these times, I want to be clear. We cannot allow your negativity to speak louder than the incredible acts of service, resilience, and unity that have defined our community over these past 2 weeks. There will be a time and place after this incident is stabilized when we can come together for constructive conversations about how we move forward and address new concerns. These conversations will be important in helping us reduce future impacts, improve response efforts, and better prepare. But let us also be realistic. We may never be able to completely prevent damage. We are dealing with the forces of nature, historic rains, and a powerful storms that will, at times, overwhelm even the best of preparations. For now, let's continue focusing on recovery, unity, and progress. That is what our community deserves. May God continue to bless our Global community. Thank you. Paul.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you very much. This event started September, the first flooding event, September 26th. That was a Friday night after this city staff had worked a full week. We worked through that weekend. And since the 26th, we've had various meetings, 7 days a week, involving literally every member of this city. We continue to have weekly meetings or daily meetings and be involved. Every member of your staff has come to us and said to their supervisor, to me, how can I help? And they have all pitched in, and it's very, very proud to say that every one of them has pitched in to help with this event. So you have a marvelous staff, and then to all the friends and partners who have done this, it just says we've rallied for this city and for this council and for this community. So last one of them, everyone.
Thank you. We'll go to our first community call to the public, and just a reminder, this is a time when anybody from the public would like to address the council and some issues that are not on the agenda. You have there will be a 3-minute time frame, and just a reminder, when comments are made at call to the public, council cannot respond back to you because we'll violate law, but we can direct staff to follow up with any comments that are made. First one, I'd like to call Christian Lewis with the Small Business Association. If you can state your name and then. It's a mic over there.
You bet, at the podium.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christian Lewis. I am from the Small Business Administration Office of Disaster Recovery. I am here today to tell everyone that we just opened up a loan center here in Globe. We offer low-interest loans to people who've been affected by disasters. I know the word loan is not the sexiest thing in the world, but it's a great resource. We offer loans as high as $500,000 for homeowners, $100,000 for renters, and up to $2 million for business owners. Our interest rates are below anything you will find on the market. Our interest rates for homeowners and renters is 3%. For businesses, it's a flat 4%. For nonprofits, it's 3.625. Our terms, up to 30 years, 12 months no interest, 12 months no payments, $50,000 or less requires no collateral. We are the largest lender of federal funds. There's no obligation to accept funds, but there is an obligation to put in an application. So we just ask people to put in an application. Once it's in our system, it stays in there for 6 months. You have the ability to say, I don't want the funds. You may need them later. But while you're trying to figure out what's going on with insurance, different grants and stuff, it's just good to have that money that's earmarked for you in case you do need it. If you don't need it, but it's a great resource to have. Again, I have a staff of people at the Chamber of Commerce right up the street. We are open 5 days a week. Yeah, 5 days a week. This week, I think we'll also be open on Saturday too. We'll have some staff there on Saturday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. There are flyers in the back. My card is there. If you have any additional questions, feel free to stop by. Thank you for your time. Thank you guys.
Next, I have Jim Brandon. Hope I said it right. Jim? Yeah.
It's Bannon, and I am the good Bannon. And I've done my due diligence. And I am looking at some real heroes. And my board said I can't do this. I have 6 world-class companies, 25 members of my board of directors, 7 PhDs. Strap your seatbelts on. We're going to teach you about hashtags. I can't tell you how impressed I am with Miami and Globe. My president lives here, Dr. Chuck Smith. So let's talk about your incubator. I know Jamie and I know Cahoots, the owner, and I am going to find out which one of you is going to be the most famous person in Arizona, because I'm going to make that happen. How about you announce to your new people, and by the way, I lost my wife of 42 years because I walked up to Tom Horner, I walked up to Katie and said, we're going to take Arizona from the worst education and make them #1. And I blew the socks off them. So I want to give you a hashtag lesson. First of all, hashtag Hobbs, numeral 4, GOV. That's how she got elected. Hashtag CC2EH. And Al and Mike, I want to talk to you in particular. I've asked Corey Woods, the mayor of Tempe, to chair this. It's a charitable coalition to end homelessness. But back to the incubator. My good buddy, he's now in Greece, and I'm ticked at him because he didn't send me a ticket. Dr. John Kalaris was on the younger Bush's Leadership and Education Committee for 5 years. And he wants to buy an incubator up in Show Low, so we'll talk about it. And Paul Jepson, I will do whatever. And watch my lips. Altruistic, free, no charge. Now, I want to teach a hashtag. Hashtag be loving, my friend is a cop. I've talked to Miami, Superior, Globe, Tempe, Mesa, and I hope they're all the chiefs are going to join me with Nick Saletti on a Channel 6 News. We're going to change the image of policing in America. And in full transparency, I'm on 3 committees of Adam Kinzinger's CountryFirst.com, 300,000 members. We are the only nonpartisan group in America. I thank you. I will bend over backwards because I did a lot of research on all you, and I had a chance to meet Jesse today. And I will do whatever I can to help this community. You guys are all wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll go to special presentations, and we have before we start special presentations, with council, if you guys are okay with moving item B over after item D, and item F with finance, they are not ready for presentation, so we can table that one for today.
Item F?
Item F, yes.
That's fine.
So we'll start with item A, presentation and discussion by Maddie Vicky, Emergency Management Specialist, providing an emergency management update to council regarding the City of Globe's response, recovery, and ongoing mitigation efforts related to the September 26, 2025 flooding event. Maddie.
Can everybody hear me? I'm a little bit short. Okay. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council, city leadership, and all members of the public that are here. Thank you for taking the time to allow me to speak tonight. My name is Madison Rybicki, but everybody calls me Maddie. I was deployed to the city of Globe to serve as your acting emergency manager to help guide this city through the unprecedented response and recovery efforts. I come to you from the City of Glendale, Department of Emergency Management. While Glendale is my home agency, my role here is solely to serve the residents and the interests of Globe, and truly my heart has fallen in love with this city. I know this community isn't just enduring a challenging period following the recent flooding disasters. You're also experiencing deep loss, and I recognize the tremendous effort and exhaustion that has gone into the response so far. Please know that my team and I are here with genuine respect for what you've gone through and sacrificed. I've trained for this my whole life, and I've never seen anything like it, so truly hear from me that my heart is with you all. My objective, starting day one, was threefold. Our immediate priority was establishing a functional emergency operations center. This provides the essential framework for centralized coordination, decision-making that is vital during a major disaster. My primary function is to guide your leadership team through the complex processes of a major disaster. This involves translating best practices from local, county, state, and federal levels into actionable steps for your city to take. My core goal, and this is my third biggest one, has always been to advocate for the city of Globe. We immediately focused our efforts on 3 non-negotiable priorities, and I'm sure you can all agree with this. Life safety, the #1 priority across anywhere in the world you'll hear is life safety. The second one is protecting your property. And the third one is environmental stability. Everything we've done, from damage assessments, debris removal, flooding mitigation efforts, and even identifying temporary solutions that we may think is crazy to come up with, it's been filtered through all 3 of those lenses. I want to emphasize that I'm not just here alone, and this disaster response is not just a local or state effort. This is a national effort. We've successfully brought in experienced, highly specialized teams both locally and across the country to support Globe's immediate needs. These experts are working in the Emergency Operations Center with me, offering specialized knowledge in operations, logistical movements, finance, and planning from all major agencies to include the City of Avondale, the City of Mesa, Maricopa County Department of Emergency Management, New York City, Florida, Texas, Virginia, and South Carolina, some that are still even responding to disasters in their own towns. They picked up and packed up and came here. We're leveraging a deep branch of expertise to ensure the City of Globe benefits from the lessons that will be learned and proven strategies used in major disasters nationwide. As is customary in long-term disaster deployments, we implement rotational shifts to ensure our team remains fresh and effective. This is crucial for maintaining the high level to support you and all that you deserve as we transition from response into a longer phase of recovery. Today, I would like to formally introduce to you the person that will be taking over as your next deployment backfill. Today was my last day with your city, and I'm devastated to leave. I've been working so closely with these people over the last few days, and it will be a seamless transition with Jack Bradley. Jack is an incredible, talented, and experienced emergency management professional, and he's ready to continue the critical work that we've started, especially focusing on maximizing your federal recovery dollars. I'd like to introduce you, Jack, and would you like to introduce yourself to the council?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to council. My name is Jack Bradley. I'm with the FDNY IMT. So we're just here to support the extraordinary workers within the Globe. We've been here for 3 days right now. They're working 20 hours a day. We're just trying to support them and give them some relief, and hopefully we're just going to try to make their lives better. But incredible city and incredible workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Mayor and council and leadership, and to all the citizens here, it's been an honor and privilege to serve this community in the city of Globe. Our commitment to your recovery remains absolute, and we are confident in the team that we've built and the plans we've put in place. This is the first time I've put a suit on. I've been in muddy Converse all week, and I hope that you hear from the bottom of my heart and the quiver in my voice that I will not let you fail. And there are so many people that are here to support you all. So thank you for your time, and I am so sorry for what you've all been through.
Thank you, Matt.
Maddie, go ahead and see if council has any questions.
Oh, council, do you have any questions for me? This is my first time.
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. I've deliberately stayed out of your shop because that's what an old man should do, is let the young run the show. But I need to compliment you all. Every day I've been reading the situation report. It's a technical report, keeps our staff focused, and I've been impressed with it. You've hit all the marks that you just mentioned. I thank you for doing that and keeping our staff focused. It's a reflection of the current level of expertise of the people in emergency operations centers across the country. I just want to say one more thing. Emergency operations managers or directors, they don't get awards like the police do or Fireman of the Year award. They do their job like sentry duty, calmly planning, training, and exercising for the next disaster. And it could be years before you're called upon. Such is the experience of an emergency manager. When you're called upon, you answer the call at a level that people don't even know. A lot of behind-the-scenes work in procurement, in logistics, and all the other things that come to play. And you do it seamlessly. That's been my experience as a director and as a planner over at DEMA. And so I thank you for holding that torch. It's very good. The level is high. And I compliment all who have come in the last 2 weeks to help Globe. Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other comment? Maddie, I just want to thank you also. Since meeting you, I've seen your expertise and your professionalism. When we were offered that opportunity to bring an emergency manager into our city to help us organize and move forward, I think it was a great opportunity. That's the best thing we did. And bringing all these experts from everywhere to help us. This is new to us, and this will help us learn and maximize what we can do and bring back to our city after this disaster. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
So next we'll skip item B and we'll go to item C, presentation and discussion by John Angulo, Public Works Director, providing an update to council regarding public work response to the impacted public rights-of-way, drainage, infrastructure, utilities, and multiple city facilities during and following the September 6, 2025 flooding event. John.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, members of the public, media. I just I'm gonna go over a list of items through our departments that have been affected and actually what we're currently working. So at any time, feel free to stop me and ask any questions if need be. I'm just gonna go ahead and start right off back with our wastewater. Initially, our wastewater actually didn't take on any immediate issues, even though it was at the floodway and where all the flow was. Luckily, that didn't take on anything. What did take effect was all the debris and sediment that actually got into our system when through the creeks here, as you know, from Reese Canyon, our sewer line runs through the creek itself. So with the debris, it broke a lot of rings. Once it lifted the manholes, all that rock and sediment got into it. So that was the initial, once the flowing slowed down, that we could start seeing there was sewer backup. We brought in contractors to do additional work with staff, so that was priority one. At that point, we had not seen any water infrastructure other than some service lines and one major on Yuma Bridge that was isolated at the time of the event. With the sewer line, we started getting crews dispatched immediately. We got some outside contractors that responded for the sewer breaker, actually the sewer backups that we're getting. So the biggest one that we were challenged with that lasted a few days was behind Salinas Barbecue Place, and that kind of actually mixed with the natural spring, so there was that much more flow in the creek. So either way, it was not a good situation. Any situation where you're getting backed up flow in any area, streets, creeks, it's just not good. At that point, an SSO, sanitary sewer overflow permit, was filed with ADEQ. That's a standard that we report that we're having an issue. We also indicated the extensive damage that we had not fully been able to assess yet. So they've been part of this process with our operator of record and make sure that we maintain compliance. Previously reported, I had indicated our point of discharge and our lift station in Pioneer Hills area, those two were affected. Our point of discharge actually took on about 4 feet of sand through, because it's basically at the base of the creek. With the help of contractors, they came in and helped us dig that out. There were some chlorine tanks that actually does the last final treatment. So that was actually taken care of, the pumps replaced, screens replaced. So that has been functional once we're able to cross the creek to get out there. Other than taking the material out of it and flushing it out, that is the final point. So actually the water's not contaminated, or it's not raw sewage at that point. It is the point of discharge where we can do follow-up testing. That's part of our normal process. Our lift station took on multiple, there's a lot of water intake. That's not necessarily the biggest issue, but the sediment that actually was getting into the system. So we had some pump issues. We do have 2 pumps that are out, sit in that room, that sound off alarms for staff. So if we have any issue there, it starts backing up and automatically the secondary will kick on. So those were the immediate. We had at least 5 issues within the creek. The biggest one that we dealt with was the one at Salinas that took on a few days. We had 2 jetter trucks, Freeport, everybody, it was all hands on deck. We actually contracted outside vendors that came in and helped us. The pumps we rented pumps. Our staff was out there with what we had. They couldn't keep up. And it's really because that is a main trunk line that feeds the sewer system, but also the natural spring was just, as soon as they dug, they brought in heavier equipment. A Trackco from outside Sholo area came into town just to try making that last ditch effort, and they were successful there. So currently, everything is where it needs to be. There's still additional assessment that we need to do on our sewer system. We haven't got to that point yet, which we anticipate. It's not. We had an issue today with some material that had gotten into the system, so that was actually, we dispatched a jetter truck. They came up and pumped that out. There is additional, which we anticipate. We just need to get in there and do that kind of work. Is there any questions on the sewer? Yes, sir.
So were we able to use our jetter truck, or did we have to contract the jetter trucks?
We actually were able to, we used it for 1 day. Unfortunately, it is you purchased to us, but because the warranty items, they actually have to come out and do a full training program with us, which was part of the package. Okay. But until they can fulfill that, we can't just send our staff out. Even though we have staff that have worked around this type of equipment, sure. It's not like a rental. They have to actually fulfill their part. And with the flow or the weather issues, they have not come back. So hopefully that's scheduled within the next week or so. So we currently have reached out to contractors to fulfill that. We have a request currently for that, so we can start doing additional assessment in our manholes, which we anticipate, additional cleaning and jetting lines. Any other questions on that? So I'll go into our water department issues. As you know, we've had 3 levels with our water system in the last week. We had a 12-inch main line that comes from our Cutter well fields that actually, with one of the storms, came through and broke the line. The debris separated the line. When crews responded to that, we had an alarm system that goes off, so they were notified immediately when that went off. So they were able to go out there. There's 2 transmission lines that come into town. They were able to isolate that 12-inch line. So they anticipated doing the work, but with water that was flowing through the creek, they were able to isolate it, and that was the first initial public notice that you saw. There may be some water pressure issues. That's what that was. Fortunately, that evening, which we always anticipate, our levels will increase in the evening where water flow consumption reduces. So our tank level was okay, so we took that restriction off the very next day. Our levels were good, current, and there was no other disruption other than some service line throughout the second storm. Those are service lines, I mean residential, some meters or issues that we've dealt with there. The second call that we put out was in the San Carlos Drive area. There's an 8-inch water line that was also washed out. That same thing, it actually, the debris pulled that apart. That's in the wash area towards San Carlos Drive, so that affected possibly roughly around 24 residents in that area. We anticipated doing the work yesterday morning to do that repair, and the crew was ready to do that and geared up for that. Unfortunately, in the evening, towards the Cutter fields, we had another 12-inch. The other line that runs parallel with that also broke. So the crews were dispatched to that area. And upon finding that, I believe what happened is once we normally use those 2 transmission lines to feed all of Globe, by reducing it down to the one, the increased pressure, it basically blew, the other line actually gave and it blew. So that's why as of this morning, we had limited water. Biggest concern is overnight when the alarm normally would have sounded off, our equipment was scheduled to get, with the storm damage, there was some equipment failures. We anticipated, the contractor was coming up yesterday, but they canceled because of the weather conditions. They have been up to this morning, that system's functional, but what happened in that process is the tank level dropped, so all the pressure was affected for, mostly with the Crestline area this morning, so that's why we could not really, on the public notice, when we put that out, we weren't really definitive on the areas that are affected because some had no water, some had limited water, some really weren't affected throughout the day because the tank's closer on Hagen. The level did drop, but there was level. So an update on that, as of 4 o'clock, the crews already had started charging the line. And that's actually right now it's functioning. They're out flowing the hydrants right now, blowing any sediment that might have gotten in. Just really getting the air out of the system. We got a phone call prior to this meeting, so we'll have staff responding to that. So I would encourage residents to just go ahead, a lot of times utilizing your hose bibs prior to using your sinks, showers. If you have a hose bib outside, turn that on, let some of that air flow out. We can blow the hydrants out to get that system up and functional, but there still would be some air lines, some air in the system. So that will be ongoing. I expect phone calls tomorrow, so we'll have staff readily available to respond and assist any residents in that manner. So the 8-inch that was affected in San Carlos, unfortunately, they're still out. We had a contractor come into town this morning that did an assessment with staff. They're getting geared up. The pipe is coming in, should be in tomorrow afternoon. So they will start digging and doing getting the line prepared for the pipe. Once the pipe shows up, hopefully within range, probably mid-afternoon. If the crew can, they're gonna start putting pipe together. That one will be shut off until Thursday. Hopefully mid-morning we'll have that back up in service. But a lot of it depends on how far they can get tomorrow. Fortunately, the weather's cooperating. The day before we couldn't get in there as well because the creek was flowing. So we had multiple different transmission lines, as I said, issues. We had multiple residential issues where the waters were affected, even with the storm cleanup. A lot of these water lines crossed the creeks, so those service lines were taken out. We had that one on Yuma Street that affected, so that one was isolated. We've kind of put temporary jump fixes. Local contractors have helped us in that first response for the first storm through. Those are still functional. We're monitoring that as well. I would stress the fact that we have actually maintained our regular schedule for testing for the water. We did additional testing up and downstream from the areas that we initially had affected by Yuma Street and throughout town. And then staff tomorrow will start doing some more flushing throughout the downtown area. And then I had staff get ready to do some sampling. Tomorrow we'll send that off also as well. But our biggest concern right now would be getting that 12-inch back in line so we can get our tank levels. Really, San Carlos is the first priority. And then we will actually start working with residents to get all our services in line. So I think it's really important tomorrow, myself, Vince Mariscal, and the water office are going to be probably taking a lot of calls, and that's I'm okay with that, you know, because people will have questions or concerns, or just like this phone call, there's air in the line, you know, we can come out and get as much staff as we can to respond to these calls.
Go ahead, Mike.
So, John, are we still restricting the amount of water we're asking our customers to use? Or-
No. No, actually, this evening, with it fully, with it running and charging the system currently, we did really good. The last time, with our levels, our tank levels will raise throughout the night. So I hope by morning, we shouldn't have any restrictions. The only one that's truly gonna affect still till tomorrow, or, you know, would be the San Carlos Drive area. So like I said, we've made efforts to get delivery of water to them. There'll be some other efforts tomorrow, but that's right now the ones that are really gonna be affected. But there will be some residents this evening that may get, you know, air on their lines. I will still be available for that, whatever we need to still send crews out. As y'all mentioned, our crews have been going nonstop, so I don't anticipate to stop, you know, just after tonight, just because we think the water's back on. I'm sure there still may be something. It could be meters, you know, just customer questions. We're available for that.
Good, thank you.
Is there any other questions on there?
John, just how many homes are affected by the San Carlos Drive broken line?
I believe there was estimated 24. Mayor, I don't have an exact number, and even reaching out to residents yesterday, not all were responding on the phone calls, and then even when we were delivering water, we still delivered water to the residents, even though nobody answered, you know, they knocked on doors, there was not a response. But I think that little community there usually responds, because in the past, when we had a water issue with water lines, they're all aware of, they communicate, you know, with us as well. So there's nothing wrong, you know, so we expect any other phone calls or additional questions, but I just wanted to let everybody know. I don't anticipate, I hope that we don't have any other issue other on those mains. The contractor that's gonna be looking at the 8-inch will actually be possibly looking at, working on that 12. So we'll get both lines up and functional.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, so John, we just got an update that we will be providing a potable water truck to the San Carlos Drive area by midday tomorrow. So that's been confirmed that that's been ordered. And we did make additional phone calls tonight to reach out and let them know that we're shooting for, you know, I think we said Thursday, but we can get some water out there tomorrow.
Good.
They already delivered cases of water, but it's via truck.
Is there any need for porta-johns out there or anything, or is it just potable water?
I really don't want to go into the details, but I believe if we have a water truck there, there'd be a sufficient amount of water to make things work.
Take care of business.
Okay.
So, John, I had a person call me that lives out behind the college, and they didn't have water today. Do they have water now?
They should be getting that. Those areas are a little bit lower on pressure normally, so that once the system, they're flushing, they're, like I said, they're starting out from Cutter and working their way back. They're
Okay.
still out there right now. That started around 4 o'clock. They let the system start charging before they start flushing out, because you don't want to deplete the system while you're still trying to fill the tanks. But like I said, Hagen Tank will actually feed more of downtown, so some of the downtown area just notice the low pressure, but those areas would be affected, so it would probably take a little bit. So I would probably recommend not just opening everything, but like I said, the hose bibs traditionally, so that air would start filling it, because a lot of times people think they're still out of water, and it's just that much air in the line.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
so. Is there any questions, other? So next topic I wanted to share with all of you, 2 weeks ago, I shared a list of at least 10 bridges that throughout our downtown area that had been topped over with the water and the debris. We did have ADOT, at that time, we had requested ADOT to come out and do some preliminary inspections, mostly for the safety. We understand that this, a lot of the handrails were taken out, a lot of the debris that was actually hung up on the bridge. You know, unfortunately, a lot of the vehicles that were, you know, hung up, so those had to be assessed. Those areas were cleared. When ADOT came through, we did get the report last week. Right now, there is not any one bridge that has been deemed unsafe. but they have a list of items that they would request. And most of them are gonna be the scouring that you see where the concrete's been cracked or debris hit it, broke pieces off of it. That all can be worked on. And, you know, the biggest concern is, as you know, Haskins and Yuma, we had a water service that we're probably gonna be looking to reroute the water line, because it actually only affected 3 service lines. It's not that much compared, for the size of the line, we thought it was gonna affect more. So we're gonna possibly look to reroute that. The other is on Haskins. That one's a little bit more work because the Southwest Gas has a line that runs parallel on that bridge as well. So we'll work with utilities. Right now, there's one business and a hydrant on that north part that's actually out of service. Fire department's aware of that. So we're gonna be working on those, but most importantly, in order to open those up, working with the engineering staff, working with ADOT, of course, the recommendations is to make the repairs prior to opening. So I can share it because I have to drive around that way as well. They will not be possibly opened until we can secure those and make sure they're safe. And it's the preliminary work, the concrete work, but most importantly, the utilities secured the gas lines with the gas company, but the handrails, you know, because the Yuma Bridge, the whole sidewalk was actually taken out. So that is in the descriptive part of the ADOT inspection, but they recommend all that, the restructure of the sidewalk. That's gonna take a little bit of time. We had a contractor out today doing an assessment, so we're gonna attach a cost. So we'll come back later on with the more in-depth, you know, of their bridges. But right now, currently, none of those bridges have been deemed that they need to close or unsafe. So effectively, really, we, you know, other than some cosmetic and some scouring, like I said, the basis, there's still some concrete work that needs to be done, but that's where we're at with those. Any questions? Okay. No? Okay. So Public Works Street Department, this is gonna be an area that we have done some repairs, some areas of concern that have been washed out. But I can tell you, staff has been more downtown in the immediate and the waterways with debris and the water service lines or water and sewer. So we literally have to get out there, and that was my goal for today, other than the water break, dealing with that. We plan on going out and we need to do a lot of assessment of our streets. So we've got multiple calls. I mean, if berms that need to be replaced, asphalt that's gonna need to be replaced, sidewalks that have lifted up. We have put in a request for the use of the jetter truck because there's a lot of culverts that are still plugged up. So we've had some efforts. The fire department actually brought out their fire truck, was blowing a lot of those areas prior to the previous storm. They helped us get a little bit of gain on that, but a lot of the work that was done prior to the storm actually is back to square one. It's kind of, David Bejarano said, we're resetting the button because that's what happens. But that's happened in traditional monsoon storms. Everybody has seen it. You saw it throughout these rains. Everything comes down the hill. You know, so it's just having that maintenance program and maintaining those. That's part of what we're gonna have to make sure that there's additional work. I know there's some concerns on some streets that have been literally washed out. Bawadi Street is one of the big ones. We're having some engineers come in and start looking at, of course, this is a bigger part of our bigger plan, right? With a meeting with the county Corps of Engineers. I know that discussion's already come up. That's what needs to happen. You know, this is beyond anything I know I've seen in my time. I've seen areas washed out closer to the highway that I've never seen. Bawadi Street, we've always known there's a lot of flow that comes to there, but never to the magnitude and then as many times as we've dealt with. So that's gonna have to be engineered, because it's not just a corner that got washed out. It's gonna be from one bridge all the way to sweep that around. I know when we met with some representatives for DEMA, they were like really astounded that the rocks that are set in place have been there as long as they have without issue. So that's a whole redesign, not only their Empire, that whole hill backside of it's, you know, there's multiple concerns. And we've also got to get into a lot of these creeks still. You know, when we're talking about debris management, McMillan Wash, that one from the vineyard all the way down, we still have to go in there. There's some sewer beehives, which we call them. They're exposed. You know, you see all the pipe, everything, so we're gonna have to start going and do it, so it's a long term, we're gonna have a longer term. Right now, there's not an immediate it's not leaking, but there is assessment that we have to go in there, but we also have to start working on the retainage of the mountainsides, the walls, everything that we've been looking at, the public's been bringing up. Those are all concerns that we have as well. It's just making sure that we follow this process and do it right so we can do the long-term fix, not just barriers like we've been doing. That's the temporary that we can do, but there is a bigger long-term of concern. McMillan Wash was already topping over before it even reached to Reese Canyon. I was out there when that happened. That was crossing. Hackney was actually flowing faster than Pinot Valley or Pinot Creek, you know, so I witnessed both of those just yesterday, and that's the dynamic of every one of these washes, how much water they take. So there's additional work that needs to be done. There's Soto Loop, just Hayes Road, there's multiple streets. I would encourage the public, if you have an area of concern, we do have a report of concern on our website, but we've also created another form that you can get through City Hall. Shelley, is that online yet? Do we know if we have it online? Okay, well, we have a form that residents can come into City Hall, if you have, or you can call my number, you know, or our staff number, we can respond. There is gonna be a list of items. Down, I have them doing signs. We have a lot of signs that have been knocked over. That's gonna be a whole blue staking process, guardrail that's been exposed, that's hanging off the edge. This is just everyday stuff, but our main focus has been the downtown, the waterways, and the sewer and water system. So, is there any questions on that? So, I believe, one of the biggest things I would actually make sure that I wanna share with the public, that when we getting with the engineering department, bringing in the proper, we talk about the creeks, the dredging of the creeks, cleaning material, working with the railroad. There is multiple levels. I've worked with Michelle in the past when we had our fires and floods previously. So we've actually pulled that map and made it available. So when we do have this group meeting, because there is so many different lines of, you know, the county, you know, the private and city. That's, to me, that's kind of, this is beyond any of those discussions as who's who. It's all of ours. Every one of us experienced this, the public's experience, the public safety aspect of it. And I hoped, you know, I was asked recently, how long will it take to get back to normal? I believe that we're beyond that, you know, we have to look at the new normal, and if it's concerning, we're gonna continue to follow up with all the right team members, and we need to make some adjustments, you know, and I thank all of you for that. This is where we're at. The public, I thank for all the support that we're getting, but we couldn't do it without everybody in this room, the public, and all of you. So, any other questions?
Thank you, John.
Thank you,
John.
John. Appreciate you.
Item D is presentation discussion by Tony Manfredi, Community Development Director, providing an update to council regarding the evaluation and assessment of commercial and residential buildings followed by the September 26, 2025 flooding event, including safety inspections, damage, classifications, and coordination with property owners.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, members of the public. I'm about to try to explain in the shortest possible way I can the events that took place on September 26th with widespread flood damage that the city infrastructure, commercial, both residential and commercial structures sustained. I'd like to first say, because I'm not hitting everything, and I'm in no way diminishing your concerns. We have so much information, and we're trying to make our way through it the best we can, and prioritizing. And with that being said, through our incident command and both the city and incident command, our goals are life safety, stabilization of the incident, and for us to protect property and the environment. Disaster and damage assessment. occurred September 26. We started doing what we call rapid assessments throughout the city. We started in our commercial corridor down on Broad Street. That was the main area between a certain span of that area was hit particularly hard from the flood. So the rapid assessments were initiated in this area. I want to talk a little about what these really mean. You'll see red, green, or yellow placards on these buildings. And I'm going to get to the residential hereafter. So we went in, we conducted a rapid assessment based on the findings of what we saw the flood and the damage assessments to the building told us. And so we had 59 of these commercial rapid assessments. We had 15 red placards, 12 yellow placards, 32 green placards. Just to talk real brief on what those placards mean, I get a lot of questions exactly what it means, and there is an explanation on the placard itself. So with green placards, the building was inspected. We didn't find any structural signs that would indicate the building would have to be limited access. You can go about your daily business, going clean, prep, and try to get your business back into operations. The yellow placards are restricted use. This means that we did note some structural damage to the structure. Limited access should be to the owner or occupant and any professionals that might be associated with coming in to abate any issues. Those would be contractors, engineers, designers, things like that. Red placards essentially mean the same thing, but it means the building's been unsafe or placarded unsafe. That tells us that we saw some extreme deficiencies on the structural attributes of the buildings. And again, people who go in these buildings should be professionals. They're your contractors, your engineers and such. We understand there's emotional ties with the buildings. People want to get in and try to clean up, muck up their building, and start the process of getting their operation or building back into function. With that being said, they're extremely dangerous, and to lose any further life or injury to people with this type of placard is something we don't want to see that happen. So I would encourage that you stay out of these buildings and have your professionals enter them as they seem fit. The assessments on the residential end by the city were a total of 14. 6 were red, 4 were yellow, and 4 were green. I'd like to also add that our Disaster Assistance Center, the state came in and with 2 teams and conducted a lot of our residential rapid assessments. So when you see 14, that was kind of the remaining that the city staff took upon to do. We had upwards to 150 additional residential rapid assessments done by the state teams, and those results are coming in. That being said, we then move on to a detailed assessment process. The rapid assessment is just what it is, rapid, detailed. We bring in a firm who's certified engineers. And they get to come in and they look at it within their scope. They decide how the rapid assessment went, what are the tags represent, and they could be upgraded, downgraded. We have only had 2 facilities that were upgraded out of all the assessments we did to a more severe tag based on the findings. Why that happens is over time, even today, every day the environment changes, and I would like for all of you to keep that in mind, is that we have the dry out, we have expansion, contraction, we have changes in the soil, we have voids occurring in the soil, and this is not just soil and foundation, it's structural. And so that changes what these tags may represent. So if you have a green tag today, it could change, and it could change to a yellow, or yellow to a red, or possibly a red to a yellow. And you get where I'm going with this, is that these changes are unforeseen. We can only go by what we're physically seeing at the moment. And that's how we do these assessments. So every day we're faced with, and you'll see our building department crews down there evaluating these structures, taking a look. That's why we're down there, is we're just trying to evaluate how these changes are occurring, how settlement is occurring, how we have to change and adjust our thought process and how we deal with these buildings. So Monday we had DPS come in with an aerial drone. We were able to, the one thing we couldn't do in rapid assessments, we couldn't get on top of buildings. The drone allowed us to do flyovers. We conducted the flyovers for all these structures downtown. We needed to look at the above structural attributes, whether they're walls or parapet walls or roof structures. We did find deficiencies and structural damage on some of these. With that being said, we will have the engineer reevaluate those structures, and we will also have the engineer reevaluate some structures that are showing further signs of structural deficiency. So that'll be taking place early next week. The reports that the engineer is formulating on these assessments will be available to the public, to the owners, to the residents. You are able to bring in your own engineers to come in and evaluate your structures. That is something you can do in a proactive approach to getting your building back into inventory. I want to talk a little about some of the exemptions that we allowed during the flood recovery. We looked at permitting. We did away with a lot of the required permitting so we can escalate and allow people to move faster to recover from flood. This was minor structural, minor electrical, drywall repairs. We typically see strip cutting and flood ridden structures. We look at the water level lines and they strip cut above that. And we replace the drywall, we dry out. Eating establishments have to adhere by county rule, which is sanitizing the environment properly. They will be overseeing that, but we are not requiring permits at that time. We're trying to make that easier for everybody to move forward faster, more efficient. If you have questions, you can contact the building department. If we have structural deficiencies, of course, that needs to be through the building department and through the permitting. For obvious reasons, we have to adhere to code. We have to have people looking at these things. We want to make sure it's safe and right. These are public, these are open to the public, and we have to adhere to that safety aspect. The utility agreements with the APS, Southwest Gas, I had meetings with these folks and managers. Again, these are things where when utilities are secured, these agencies want permitting through the city. They want testing done. They want proper documentation to turn on utilities. We worked out a deal where, particularly on the Southwest Gas side, where they will come, they will do pressure testing on their side, on the customer side, and initiate putting the appliance back into order without permitting. So if APS or Southwest Gas came and shut down their appliance or locked it out, there's a number to call. It's posted. You can call the building department. We'll share that. And that's a seamless system as well, and doesn't require permitting and the time to do so. So again, we're trying to implement these things so we can move forward, move faster, help out our business owners and residents by doing these things. Lessons learned. I'd like to talk a little about that. And again, there's so much info to share here that there'd be more to come. I just want to ensure people, and as we learn more, we'll share that. And as we document, we'll share that. And as we receive documentation, we'll share that information. The lessons learned is another next step in this process. After a disaster like this, we take a step back, and even during the process, we have to initiate and examine what we could have did better, how we could do better. And there's a lot of avenues that we can address with that. That'll come later on in an incident action plan, recovery process. But these are efforts for permitting, how we further engineer assessments, how we better prepare for disasters and emergency planning. This includes our citizen planning as well, not just city planning, but citizen planning. How we improve our communication amongst government agencies and focusing on long-term recovery and resilience through our community engagement. So with that being said, if there are any questions from council, I'd like to address that at this point.
Any questions?
I just have a real quick one. So I know that when we were bringing in our structural engineers to help us, that they were gonna focus on just commercial. Did that expand to residential? I was kind of curious.
Yeah, so the initial assessment was on commercial, for the commercial corridor, for different reasons. Then we were able, through upper management, we were able to exceed that to our residential and have that coverage provided to them, and we did do that during that period of time. We just extended their stay.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. And one last thing I'd like to say that I didn't hit on is that the focus on our Broad Street and the commercial corridor, we have to think about life safety. That's our main goal. And we have structures that are very deficient structurally. They have fall zones that come with them. They're showing separation, they're showing twisting, they're showing things that we have to be very concerned about. So one of the reasons why we're bringing back our engineers to reevaluate these things and how they're looking, and again, every day changes. Every day shows us something else is happening. So we're gonna have that person come back and reevaluate certain structures that we identified as seeing changes. And then with that being said, we wanna make sure that when we open the streets and we open our sidewalks in our downtown area, that we keep in mind that we have foot traffic and vehicle traffic. We have our patrons coming downtown to shop and the frequent restaurants and services that we offer. We want to make sure they're coming down and they can safely do so. So we are looking at the possibility of having to shut some sidewalk down or fence off areas. You may see that over the course of the next week, but I do want to bring that. I don't want it to be a surprise for the public or for folks that are down there who have businesses. I want them to be aware of that. And with that being said, that's all I had.
Tony, I do have a speaker card for a question from David Barry. David, if you can state your question, Tony, if you can repeat it, that way it's heard on social media.
Yes, sir.
You can stand, David, and ask your question, please.
Yeah, one of my buildings is likely need to come down the 1 at 428 Broad Street, and due to the proximity to other buildings and businesses, I was just wondering how we're gonna work together to accomplish that properly, and what assistance would be provided to the property owners that have kind of been put in a situation where their properties are probably too far gone to rehabilitate.
So the question is, coming from a business owner downtown who feels like their business is probably a loss and may need to be demoed, how that might affect the neighboring business and what resources are available to you in order to conduct that. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a way to work with the city to be able to get that building taken care of in the quickest way possible to prevent it from holding up other.
Sure. So I can answer some of that and be a little vague about some of it too. But in all, the interaction with business owners or residents, property owners, we have to have they have to be reactive to this as well. And so it is private property, but it is under an emergency event. And when we talk about a building that might have some deficiencies that are unsafe, our downtown corridor, the way these buildings are built, they are either abutting walls or party walls. They share walls or they have walls abutting one another. And so it makes it convoluted when it comes down to demolition. And it has to be done strategically to ensure that we don't ruin the stability of a neighboring property. So how that happens is through proper engineering assessments and planning. And so we're working on that, Mr. Berry. And as far as the resources go, that may assist. We have the Small Business Association, and they're going to talk about that here in a moment, that offers some options. The city offers some options, and we're working on how we can do some of this abatement through the federal level. But I can't promise any of that because all this is being worked through as we speak. And this is a new process. Again, the city hasn't seen a disaster like this, at least the folks I know haven't here. And so we're making our way through there. We're trying to line up all the resources that we possibly can to assist our residents, to assist our business owners, and to assist in earning properties properly. So does that answer your question?
For the base part,
Yeah.
we'll talk later.
Okay. Yeah, and please, anybody's got building questions, again, my name is Tony Manfredi. I'm the building official, community development director. You can contact me through City Hall, building department. If you have questions, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to answer questions. I understand your ties with these buildings. I don't want to diminish the information, and emotions are running high right now. So people are looking for explanation and some information, and we're trying to relay that the best we can as we obtain it and as we learn from the event.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Tony?
So we'll go back to item B, and that's presentation discussion by Chief Gary Robinson and Chief Dale Walters, providing a public safety update to council regarding the City of Globe's emergency response coordination efforts and public safety operations following the September 26, 2025 flood event.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, members of the public. For my portion, I'll kind of touch on two aspects of what we've done in terms of emergency response. The first part, I'll speak to is centered around fire department operations and some of the things that we've been working to do as we've gone through transition to or went into response, back to recovery, and back to response again a couple of times now. A lot of effort from the staff has gone into it. Some of that's been mentioned. We've had, we've filled some support roles in terms of helping with public works projects. Some of that was tied into the team response and staffing key positions, not only with the incident management team that we had here initially, but those roles have continued with members supporting the team, particularly in the operations function with Chief Bayerano functioning as our operations chief, and Chief Cormack in working primarily in the debris management portion of that managed several of the larger projects that we had going with debris management, primarily from the initial response. With that, once we transitioned away from the incident management to the initial incident management team that we had here with one of the Southwest Region incident management teams, and transitioned into our own in-house operation. One of the things we've been fortunate through all of the mutual aid compacts that exist, whether they're Arizona mutual aid compacts, whether they're nationwide mutual aid compacts, we've been able to pull resources in. Maddie had an opportunity to stand up here and visit and present some of the work that they've done, and also introduce Jack and some of his team that have come in to help. That is, for a city our size, that is a critical piece to make sure that we capture everything we're doing in terms of the work, in terms of the effort, so that we can move forward and hopefully receive some federal assistance that takes a lot of the burden off of us as a city, and places a lot more of that financial burden back on the state, back on the federal government. to help recover. As you know, as I'm sure you're aware, you know, a lot of our leadership team spend a lot of time in the field also doing work. And it becomes very challenging when you're trying to compile a lot of information, when you're trying to compile a lot of the work that's going on out in the field. If we don't bring in these experts that can spend time in the operations center, that can sit and document the work that's happening, track the financial costs that are associated with that work, get logistics requests out to help support with the equipment. We've talked a little bit about equipment that we've needed. We've talked a little bit about the potable water. All of that runs through this process so that we're supporting not only our citizens, but we're supporting the work that needs to be done in the community. It's a critical resource for us, and it, you know, the goal is that it pays off in the end, and we are able to get some of the support that we really desperately need here. With that, you know, we're continuing to work to do that. You've had John here talking about some of the things he's had to do out in the field with water breaks, with sewer lines. We've talked about the debris management portion. All of that is kind of coordinated, compiled, and put together in the Emergency Operations Center so that when we go to submit reimbursement for FEMA, we have a big packet that's put together that's tracked the work, tracked the cost, tracked the man hours involved, everything that's there that'll allow us to support it and support our case to be able to receive that assistance. The last thing I'll say is everybody has put in a lot of effort. Most of them have been working, you know, 7 days a week for the last 3 weeks with very little time off. Occasionally it shows a little bit, but for the most part, everybody's been working well together. We continue that team continues to work to iron out things that things that come into play when we start talking about working from government to government, so city to county to state, to make sure that we're following the process we need to follow. The goal is to continue forward. We know we have more work to do. We have some more recovery work that needs to be done. A lot of that in the debris management portion. You know, we've got some sites that we're going to have to go back and mitigate, where we've had to store volumes of flood debris that's going to have to be moved from that, and we've brought in some experts to help with that process that we get to do through those mutual aid compacts. We'll continue to do it, and I'm sure we'll be back here in a couple of weeks and have the opportunity to report on some of the additional work that we've been able to accomplish. I think we saw better results with the work that was done before, and hopefully we'll continue to improve on that as we go. Are there any questions?
Questions for Chief Mike?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. One of the local churches contacted me. They were along Jesse's Road cleaning a house, and I think it was the home where the young man that got hurt down at the El Rey hurt his arm. Well, the group that was working for that family while they were out of town to clean their house, they got together with Captain Cormack out there, back there in the back, and he just wanted me to relay to you and to the fire staff that they did a great job helping him out, and they were really surprised that they spent that much time helping him, considering the seriousness of what was going on in town. And they really appreciated that. So, Kendall, good job.
Chief Cormack has really got a quick lesson in debris management. Stepped up and done a great job, and I'm sure with the staff that we have, one of the staff members we have from Texas is going to help give him a little bit more of a crash course and hopefully get us on the right tracks.
Very good. Fernando?
Same thing. In fact, it was your brother Bob who wanted me to say something, that how responsive they were out there volunteering, and just everybody stepping up and just going above and beyond, and so they really appreciated it, so.
Of course.
Thank you, Chief.
Good to hear. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council.
Evening, Chief.
So last September, I just passed 7 years of being here, and I remember when I retired from the Chandler Police Department as the Assistant Chief, I was accused of going to Sleep Little Globe, and I was gonna fall asleep all the time. You guys have prevented that all 7 years, I just want you to know. So on September 26th, we had a horrific incident, a natural disaster in our community, and since that time, it just hasn't stopped. The initial incident, luckily, we had a few days to work on the investigative portion of it to help identify and make sure we didn't have further victims out there. And we recovered 66 vehicles, not including the vehicles lost at Courtesy Ford. My staff, along with everybody in the city, has been working pretty much 24/7 ever since. About the time we thought we were going to get a breather, we got the remnants of the hurricane come through. And so since September 26th, we've had 4 major flooding events within our community. And all 4 of them historical, the first one being the worst. But with all the work that the men and women did, particularly Kendall, I can't say enough kind things about him and the group that has been working with him, and all the other groups that were out clearing the creeks. They really saved us, because if they hadn't done such a good job the first pass through, the last 3 floods we've had this week would have been a lot worse than what they were. So we're a small agency, and we've taken on a lot over the last couple of weeks. We've tapped all of our people. We're double staffed, and we have been since the 26th, or actually the 27th, both days and nights. We've had a tremendous partner with the Arizona Department of Public Safety coming down and helping us. We've also worked well with the Arizona Rangers for coverage. And here lately, we've actually had to go to an off-duty company to get some extra help in. Some of the challenges that we've had, or some of the closures that we've had to do, whether it was for Kendall and his crew, for clearing out the roadways, or clearing out the creeks, or Broad Street. Before I get too much into Broad, I want everybody to understand we've really focused a lot on Broad Street because it really took the brunt of it. But there are a number of areas within the community. Broad and Jess Hayes have been kind of at the forefront, but our pool took a big hit. Our infrastructure took a tremendous hit. Other areas within our community and the greater Cobra Valley have all taken really big hits. And so we're kind of focused on Broad and Jess Hayes, but we have to remember that there's a lot of areas within our community that are suffering right now. Those just happen to take the biggest hit from the storm. When it comes to Broad, initially, our ultimate goal was to try to get it back open as quickly as we can. But the reality of it is our mission is life safety. And because of the issues that we've had down there, we've had to keep it closed. When we extended it the first time, it was really for the business owners because there were some issues with security. You were still trying to clean out. You were still trying to muck it out. Now we're getting into the stage that with the additional storms, we're still cleaning up down there again for the 3rd or 4th time in some cases. But now with the structural damage, I can't tell you when we're going to open it up. I don't know. In talking with Tony today, there's a couple of 2-story buildings down there. If they go the route that we think they might go, we're going to have to fence that area off. And by standard, we have to fence it off to a large enough area that would accommodate and prevent pedestrians from being in the area, which would mean we're going to lose Broad Street during that duration, which means that it would be very limited access through that corridor, and we have to be prepared for that. Currently, right now, the curfew's lifted, if you didn't know. However, we are locking Broad Street down at night, but we're open it during the day. For those of you that have businesses that are actually able to open down there, the access is through South Broad, and the exit is through South Broad. I can't open North Broad up. We don't have the staffing or the ability to turn the unwanted vehicles around constantly down there, and it's going to be problematic. So if it's not a through street, North Broad Street stays closed. In addition to that, with the ongoing issues with the two bridges down there, Haskins and Yuma, we have to maintain a certain amount of security down there and maintain those closures until we figure out exactly what we're going to do. So this is going to be evaluated day by day. I will tell you right now, Broad will stay closed on the whole at least through Sunday, with the intention that during the day we'll open up South Broad so owners, businesses, and patrons can reach their destination from South Broad, but other than that, that's where it's gonna be. And then come sundown, we're gonna shut it down. And we're not gonna leave security on it like we've had up until today. At night, we'll have security down there during the day to work the closure. And then the patrol officers will be conducting frequent patrols throughout Broad as often as they can throughout the night. If there becomes an issue, we'll try to adjust. We're just running out of personnel, and we're still overstaffing, but we have a lot of areas to cover with all the damages and stuff like that over time. The second thing I'll bring up, we discussed greatly some of the special events that are coming up, and there can be more discussion on it and more ideas on it. But from the meeting that we had today, staff was recommending that we forego the special events from now until the end of November and reevaluate it with the hope of being able to achieve some of our December special events. There's a lot going down on Broad. Anything on Broad is pretty much going to be off limits just because we don't have the staffing for it. And there's so many critical issues down there and life safety issues down there, we can't control it. If we open up Apache G this weekend down there, we're going to get everybody in town that come to it. They want to see Apache G, but from all the coverage we've had over the last several weeks, they're going to want to go see the devastation on the north end of Broad. And we can't have that because several of those buildings are just flat and unsafe at this time. So we're doing the best that we can. We're open to suggestions, but that's kind of where we're at right now, and there'll be further discussion on it in the days to come.
And so, Mr. Mayor, members of council, just real quick, I just did want to announce that what action the city will be taking. We have already canceled Citizens Academy first Friday. The remainder of the pool system, the pool season, State of the City Mayor that's going next year, the community cleanup, Apache G, and the downtown Halloween. Now, we're hoping that some of these events could be relocated, and we're gonna look to see if we can, especially Apache G and downtown Halloween, we can move those. And so there was a suggestion, we need to run it through the team and see if that can be accommodated. I think it's some better options. But I don't want to say anything right now until I get able to confer with the rest of the team. And so that is what we are announcing tonight. But a quick question, Dale. There was a question about how customers can get to those businesses that are open in the daytime. Do they have to walk, or are they? We had a conversation about customer access, like to Ford. The McSpadden Ford and things like that.
So they can drive down. It's open for the customers of the businesses down there to drive down. What we're not letting through is non-related individuals. If they're just wanting to drive and check out the devastation, we're trying to keep them out. Don't be affronted if you're contacted by law enforcement when you first try to come in to find out why you're going down there. We're just trying to limit the access down there. There are a lot of hard-working shop owners that are still doing cleanup down there. And then if you get a bunch of excess personnel walking up and down the sidewalks and everything, it makes it difficult to accomplish what they're doing. Plus, some of the buildings are unsafe, so we're trying to limit it. I had a discussion earlier with Councilman Leatham about possibly opening up the north end. The problem with doing that is I have no control over who's coming in on the north end, and if they get in there, trying to turn them around. So that's the issue. I know McSpadden Body Shop has been opened for a while now. We've been letting customers get down there and then back out. A lot of delivery of damaged vehicles actually from the storms that we've had. And we'll try to do that for all the businesses down there. If there's a question or are concerned about that with any of the business owners, feel free to get a hold of me. Call down the police department. I think most of you got my personal cell phone number. So I'd rather not give it out on Fox 10, but if you guys want to get a hold of me, I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. You can stop any one of the men and women of the Globe Police Department, and they'll be answering it. I brief my guys twice a day, the men and women that work for me. I sit in briefing rooms with these fine people twice a day, covering it. And then, so we're dealing with this. It's been nonstop throughout the day, every day since this very started. And we'll continue to do that until we get to a successful conclusion of this incident.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, we are facing a city-changing event here. We're not going to be the city. At the end of this, we're not going to be the same city we were before this storm hit. We'll be a different city. We need to get back on track and get our process moving. This council has objectives, you have goals, you have things that we want to achieve. We need to, in the next week and the next 3 weeks, get this wrapped up, get our submissions, make sure that we have taken on the recovery and get that finished so we can get back to normal. But we need to focus. It's been everybody on board trying to get these things done. As soon as we can get this to where a stable place, then we can go back to those other city things that we have going on. I think that for us to be successful, we need to focus now. If we try to do two things at once, we're trying to get this recovery, but still business as usual, we will fail at both. And we are at a turning point of financially with this city right now. If we don't do this part right, we will suffer for years. So that is why we're taking these dramatic steps to cancel these events. I would like to just keep going and we'll keep trucking through, but we don't have the staff, we don't have some of the abilities. Something we found out just today, water had infiltrated into the electronics of the pool, and so we haven't had a chance to get that taken care of. So there's flood damage even to the pool right now, and I just found that out this morning. The state of the city, like say, Mayor, you realize we had to do that. Even things like community cleanup, where the debris issues need to be managed in such a way, because if we get the debris handled wrong, incorrectly, it will cost us not only loss of funds but possible fines and things like that. So there's so much going on. We are focusing to get this handled, get the city the recovery response done and done right, and then move forward to bring things back in hopes that our holiday season, Thanksgiving and Christmas, will go on as normal. So that is why we're taking this dramatic step to close these down. We've been working, like say, so long, every day. I think that is what we've determined is the best avenue to keep the city going.
Mr. Mayor, just before this event occurred, we had report outs in subcommittee from Public Works as well as Police Department. And they had noted that they were shorthanded and that they'd given us that information so we could consider it. And then within a few days, the event started. And I want to thank all the staff for rising to the occasion, but we need also to get back to business to see how we can help our departments attract the employees that we need. And that is a concern. I know that we just had that conversation, and here we are. So we need to kind of shift and go back and see what we can do to help both of those departments. So that's all the comment I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Martin. Anybody else? I just want to make, I just want to make a comment that I truly understand that I've witnessed it every day, the amount of work that our staff has been putting on a regular basis. Some of our staff has not had a day off in 3 weeks. They're working 7 in the morning till 10 at night, some of these individuals. Mm-hmm. They're working numerous hours. So I understand, and I hope that conversation can take place where we can relocate like things like Apache G or even our Halloween event, because that's something we want to bring back. Those are monumental to our city, and next year in 2026 we can bring them back. The key thing is to stabilize our city first so we can move forward. And hopefully by December, we'll have the situation stabilized where we can enjoy a true Christmas holiday here in our city.
Mayor, I couldn't agree with you more. Two things I want to mention. First of all, my staff was on overtime the weeks leading up to this event because we were trying to finish the accreditation for the police department, which we did the day before the first flood. We were awarded accreditation through ALEAP and ACOP for the police department. So that was a huge achievement that we haven't even got to talk about yet fully in council, and we will in councils to come. The second thing is I didn't realize how massive and how important and how great of the special events were up here till I got here. The first Halloween I was here, I've had an ultimate goal. This was gonna be my year for that. For Halloween, we'd actually have more children dressed up like cops as opposed to firemen. I think I would have really done it this year, but you know, the flood happened, and so it is what it is. So we're hoping for next year. So this is a wonderful community, and I've thanked all the personnel working on this, but I really want to thank the citizens before I'm done, because you really are who make this community as resilient as it is, and it has been for generations. So thank all of you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, sir.
And Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, members of council, we did have one person respond with a comment for this segment.
Okay.
So would you like me to read that?
Yes, go ahead, please.
This says, I do not concur with the idea to close down special events downtown, especially Halloween, which downtown businesses can use to fundraise for repairs. Apache G is only 5 days out. It is really bad, crappy to counsel the performers and vendors now. That's Kelly Green, 9127 South 6 Shooter, Canyon Road. Then a second comment, the city manager did not convince me. Asked for volunteers to make this event happen. This community has shown we will come together to make it happen. The city won't be the same again has been the theme of the night. I find myself disappointed that you have already given up. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So next is item E, presentation and discussion by Linda Arenero, Assistant City Manager, providing an update to council on recovery and relief efforts for commercial businesses and residents impacted by the September 26, 2025 flooding event, including business outreach and assessments, coordination with 8 partners, distribution of relief resources, and next step timelines.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Appreciate the time tonight, and what a wonderful group of people that we have tonight, because we do have a very big announcement to make at the end of this. So since the September 26th event happened, we have been extremely busy, as you just heard, but we've also been planning for recovery, because that is our goal, is to come out of this stronger and our businesses thriving more than before, if that's possible. And that's by bringing these kind of resources into the community. And some are going to be coming down the road, but the ones that we're talking about tonight, some of these are immediate, and some of these will be coming in the next week or so. So over the past couple of weeks, our team has assessed over 100 homes and 70 businesses that were directly impacted by the floodwaters. This is the Chamber of Commerce that stepped up and became just a central point of donations and resources, and that they were wonderful. They delivered cleaning supplies downtown to business owners that were in the middle of cleaning out their buildings. It was a wonderful service to have. And then as Christian, he was the gentleman that spoke at the beginning of the meeting with the Small Business Administration. These are some of the resources available through the SBA, and these are home loans and business loans for area residents at very, very competitive interest rates. And we're going to be bringing in an additional team with RCAC and Local First to sit down with our business owners and how to access these, how to develop the application in such a way that it makes it more palatable, because you know, no one wants to take on more debt. That's scary. But what would make sense for our individual businesses, and that changes from each business owner. And so the team will come. We're thinking it's going to be at the end of November, early December, to sit down and provide this one-on-one service. And that's also going to be coming through the business relief grant that we're going to talk about shortly. And this is just some of the detail regarding the offerings from the SBA. There's also the economic injury disaster loan. I believe there is some of this that is forgivable. But again, this changes from applicant to applicant. And so please go to the chamber while they're here. I think they're here for the next 3 weeks. Sit down, make an appointment, and sit down with the caseworker so that you can find out what is your best option, as not just as a small business owner, but as a homeowner that's been impacted. So I volunteer for the United Fund of Globe Miami. And after the flood happened in Miami on Thursday, I met with our staff, and they're here tonight. Susan Guerrero and Maren Belling. Maren Belling's our executive director, and Susan is our community outreach coordinator. And we had some funding left from the Fires and Floods program that was set up for residential assistance. It was a grant back in 21. We had a little bit of funding left. And it's like, there were homes impacted in Miami. Let's bring it back. Let's call our partners, the Salvation Army, and they are here tonight. We have Yvette Angulo in the back, and there's team from the Valley as well. And we'd like to call them up in just a little bit so they can talk a little bit more about the program. But we got the ball rolling on that Friday, and we sat in Vita Cafe, and it was pouring. Well, then Globe happened, and I thought, okay, let's kickstart a business relief grant. And so in 10 days, we were able, with fantastic partners, to bring to the table for the residential relief program, the amount right there, $528,000 and a little bit of change. And then for our business program, this is our business relief grant, we've just hit $1,078,000. And one of our partners is here in the room, and as we were able to share on Facebook, the agreement went live this midnight 2 nights ago. And so we'd like to invite Brian Seppala from Resolution Copper up to speak to Resolution's generous support for our community.
Excuse me, guys. Good evening, Mayor, Council, Public. Thank you for the opportunity to address you guys tonight in regards to what Linda's referenced on the flood relief program with United Fund of Globe Miami. But first, on behalf of the entire Resolution Copper team, we want to offer our condolences to all those families that have been impacted and lost lives, as well as everybody who's recovering and still rebuilding their lives right now. It's been a long 2 weeks for you guys. You know, being born and raised in Globe, I have family, friends, colleagues still here, and seeing what they went through for these 2 weeks has been heart-wrenching. But then uplifting to see how everybody came together those last 2 weeks. And you know, including our Resolution Copper team, we were truly mobilized within about 3 hours of the Miami flood. We had members of our communities team staffed and ready to assist in which ways we could in a safe way. There's a lot going on then. We mobilized our local contractors that had the equipment and the manpower to support to help clean the debris, the roads, and basically help get a safe environment for those folks that did need to come in and do their own assessments. From there, we offered their support for the last 2 weeks. So our contractors like Audinetto Construction and Four Winds Contracting out of San Carlos and Superior Environmental, they've been out in the communities in Miami and Globe helping clean streets and clear creeks in preparation for the storm that just happened this past weekend. In all, we've spent about, I want to say, $115,000 just in that contractor support to help get communities, you know, boosted and ready for that next storm. Our communities team has been out again volunteering, really our entire Resolution team. We had about 45 volunteers in the community the last 2 weeks. volunteering about a total of, I think, 150 man hours, helping businesses paint, helping businesses muck out their rooms. We were in quite a few homes, a couple on Just Hayes. It was just, heartbreaking to see what happened there. So we know what we've done has made a positive impact. We're very grateful and humbled to be able to do that, but we knew there was an opportunity to do more. Over the last 2 weeks, I was diligently working with the Rio Tinto, which Rio Tinto oversees Resolution Copper. They're a global company that has a disaster relief fund, which is available to all their assets across the globe. So after going through a matrix of sense and documenting the impacts of this flood disaster, this disaster met the threshold for major donations and investment into the community. So for 2 weeks, we worked on a lot of logistics and a lot of late night meetings with folks over in Australia, so that was fun. And then, as Linda mentioned, 2 nights ago at midnight, I got the final go-ahead to announce a donation to United Fund of Globe Miami in the amount of $1 million to help business and residents recover and rebuild. So we have set kind of an allocation for each, with a disclaimer that they are flexible in the sense that if we see a need on one side or the other, those can always pivot if we see more on one. But right now we have a decent amount towards business and also a big chunk towards residential. And then in addition, we saw the need to help start the conversation or really, I guess I should say, start a funding source for the conversation around flood mitigation and planning for what is to come. And so hopefully we can leverage those funds with the city and the town of Miami and the county to look at watershed management and planning so that we can work to prevent this type of disaster in the future. So I know there's more to come in the presentation from Linda and team. But again, we're here with you as a project. This is our backyard. So we're going to be here with you as you guys recover and rebuild. So. Thank you.
I'm so glad you guys are still here. The thing I remember was about a year and a half, 2 years ago in a roundtable discussion. Might have been the same president that was there back then. And I complimented her and I said, you people have been in here for about 20 years. And she mentioned the number. And I told her I was amazed that you're still here. If from a business point of view, you could have walked away from Resolution any time to cover losses or move on to another project. And she said, we're here for the full term. We're here for the long term. And I'm glad it's obvious that you didn't walk away and on the precipice of a success story. And then to hear this news the other night from Linda was amazing. And we are, speaking personally, thankful that you all stepped up.
Thank you.
And it's a sign of the future with Resolution. And we are elated, excited, and grateful that you have stepped up to the table. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Brian, thank you very much.
Thank you,
From our
Brian.
Globe Miami community, we really appreciate it, and that's gonna give a big boost to our business and residents to recover. Thank
I
you.
would like to add one quick point too. So our funding specifically is available to any resident or business owner throughout Globe Miami or the unincorporated areas of the county. So it will be available to the region for folks that were impacted, and really excited that we're able to take our donation and leverage it with the folks like Freeport, BHP, APS, and all the other funders that Linda will talk about, because we can put our funds in one program and leverage that investment, that donation, and make a bigger impact to those folks that need it quickly, and then also do it transparently, which is very important to us. So I know Linda will talk more about the partners in the room, but we're excited about both of them, so I don't want to steal her show, but
I just couldn't wait for the announcement.
so we're excited to work with Salvation Army on the resident side and Local First Arizona, hopefully on the business side. So
Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
But don't leave, we're gonna take a picture. Oh. well, that's interesting. So our funders, Brian mentioned quite a few of them, Southwest Gas, Freeport McMoran, Wells Fargo, First Interstate. You know, let me oh. Okay, here we go. Freeport McMoran, Arizona Gives, Florence Copper, Dynamo Electric, via Arizona Gives, the Cobra Valley Youth Club, Sparklight, Washington Federal, of course, Resolution Copper, Wells Fargo, as we had mentioned, Sunt, Cobra Valley Regional Medical Center, and actually this picture was taken just today with the big check. The hospital, the board donated $75,000 towards the grant relief program, both residential and, well, to be used for both the residential and the business grant relief program. BHP, and of course, the City of Globe has set aside $200,000 to put towards this initiative. The Lions Club, Fenimore Craig Law Firm, Doug and Marcia Miller Charitable Fund, the Friends of the Globe Public Library, Globe Rotary, the United Way of Pinal County, and Southwest Gas. And there were several anonymous donations from foundations around the country, one at $20,000, another at $25,000. We had donations coming as far as Minnesota. It's been and they're still coming in. So the United Fund had launched a grant challenge for the residential program. It was $50,000, and we would match up to $50,000, and we far exceeded that. And so when the Globe event happened, and we saw that the businesses were going to be needing assistance in both Globe Miami, our board was very generous and agreed to launch the same initiative. So it was again, a $50,000 grant match that was far exceeded, and thanks to our amazing community partners and our anonymous partners and the support that we've been seeing coming from all over the country for our wonderful community. It really is going to be life-changing, and we are very excited to work with two fantastic partners on the residential grant relief program. We are working with the Salvation Army of Globe, and Yvette Engelo is here, and she's been working hard. The funding is already getting out in the community. It's been fantastic to see. And then tomorrow, the business grant should go live, and it will be a website, and we will blast this all over our website, our social media platforms through Local First Arizona. And that's going to look a little different. There's going to be an immediate grant relief in beginning. So businesses can apply for up to $5,000 that would be given immediately. And that's just, to keep the recovery efforts going. You need money to come in to, if not to buy supplies, so that you can sustain your household. And then as businesses are further into their recovery mode and needing to buy equipment and look at large-scale construction costs that they may be needing to get quotes for, that's when the second round of funding would go out. And those are for the larger amounts to be determined based on the need that Local First is going to be seeing with all of the businesses. So again, the applicants will apply. The Local First team will be having one-on-one sit-downs with the businesses, finding out what do they truly need, are there other avenues to achieve it, so that we can make the most impact that we can with this funding. And so working with fantastic partners that we've worked with in the past who are so good at this, the intake part, that's the hard work. And of course, our businesses and our homeowners have the hardest work, to move forward and reopen and get back in their homes, hopefully. So it's been a fantastic few weeks to see the generosity coming in to support our community. And again, here's a residential flood program. Yvette and her team are located at 161 East Cedar Street. And the qualified applicants can receive up to $7,500 in qualifying expenses. And this should mention that with the funding that the United Fund was able to bring in, that amount was $4,500, but then when APS came in and partnered with the Salvation Army, that amount was able to be increased to $7,500 in qualifying expenses. And then again, the business flood relief program goes live tomorrow. And we'll get that information out there, and our economic development team will be reaching out to each and every business owner to make sure that they know how to apply. And it will be an online application portal to access. So
Just comment.
that's our presentation.
I do have a question, but you
Sure.
may not be able to answer it. So some businesses already have loans, right? And so now if they go out and acquire a loan to then recover, now they got two payments. And so I'm wondering if there's an opportunity for them to restructure their debt so they can have one payment and move forward.
So I know SBA has done this with other businesses when we were working with them through COVID, so the short answer would be yes, but it would be dependent on, the business's credit score and what their current loan status looks like. So yes, that is possible.
Thank you.
Lynn, on the resident side, would that be in-person application process at the Salvation Army?
Yes,
So they have to go in there, the website will be set up for the
local
business.
first, yes, for the business side.
Now, I guess this is a Yvette question, are they staffing up for that? How are those?
Oh, yes. Yvette, may I ask you to come up? And
Get
Chris,
up, John.
please.
Just trying to
Our partners have
understand.
come a long way. I'd love to invite them up to speak to their program.
Yeah, just trying to understand the process for everybody to,
course.
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thank you for this opportunity to speak. We do have some assistance already set up and ready to go. We have some voucher systems that we have set up. Our process is a little bit, it does take some time for us to go ahead and cross-reference some of the information that we're getting, because we're getting some of the, the names and affected addresses from the Red Cross as well as the county. So we just want to make sure that we are assisting those who were affected drastically. I mean, especially with the, some of the homes have been either major damage or destroyed, and we want to make sure those folks are being helped. We have vouchers set up with lumber and laundry assistance currently. That's going to be going into effect as soon as the owner is back in town. We are also have been given some credits with the Airbnb to house some of the folks that need to be housed for a little bit of a long term than the motels or hotels near here. And we are also trying to figure out some of the gift cards that we have, that we want to make sure that they are able to at least get that process done so they can use that right away to purchase some of the items that they need. We are also working with also for rent as well. We are working directly with organizations and companies or apartments or homeowners so that the funds go directly to them. So none of the sorry, I don't have an outdoor voice. But if you have any questions, obviously you can call Yvette at the Salvation Army. Our team is here temporarily, obviously, but Service Extension Unit for the Salvation Army is here for a very long time. And Yvette and her team is, being set up so these assistants are going to be in effect and possibly become one of the long-term recovery efforts as well. So, yeah.
As far as the donation efforts, we still encourage people to make their donations to the United Fund of Glow Miami first. That's the proper channel, although Salvation Army is distributing them. But we need to make sure, because we're still getting a lot of checks and donations, but we want to make sure they go that direction first, because that's the way it'll happen properly.
So with our organization, we do set up links where folks can donate to that specific effort. So we do have a link that is being
advertise that, if you want to monetarily donate, then go to this website, but it's through Salvation Army. But we also can, make sure that it does get donated back to where it needs to go. And also, we do want to mention that our warehouse is at the fairground, but we are trying to downsize some of our efforts and bring all the resources to the service extension unit on Cedar Street. So as of right now, the donations, we are not going to be taking taking in donations until further notice, and we just want to make sure that all the items that we have currently gets distributed out first before we can, start getting more donations in. Any other questions?
Anything you got? No.
No, I'm good. I'm just I'm not a good talker, so you did all right. You did good.
I do have a quick question, Mayor. Is the money, if somebody comes in to get money, is it accessible immediately, or do they have to wait a week, 2 weeks, or whatever? Because these people, I know some of them are already spending money out of their own pocket already to rebuild. So can they go in there and do they have to fill out an application? What's the process in that, and how long would that take?
So we do have intake application that they need to fill out, and depending on the assistance, it does take some time, because what we are doing is working with other, so let's say they need a lumber and they use our voucher system. We give them the limit of up to so much that they can spend. They will take that to the lumber company. First choice, yes. And they will process it on their end, and they will bill us at the end of the month, and we will pay the store directly. So there's no funds being exchanged whatsoever from our office to the survivors. It's actually directed to whatever their need is. So right now we have the lumber voucher as well as the laundry voucher, but we are hoping to get more organizations or companies working with us. So we do have emails sent to Ace Hardware as well as Cal Ranch in
Okay.
hopes that they can partner with us as well.
Good.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So sorry, Mario.
I just want to say one thing, based on experience. This is the fastest flow of individual assistance, partially because of the current technology that we have. There's many mechanisms to fund and bring your donations, but as the mayor just mentioned, please consider Salvation Army as well as United Fund. This is in addition to, or what may be coming down the line from FEMA if we can qualify for individual assistance. So this is unique, and it's very heartening to see that society can move this fast to help the region. And I'm really pleased to see that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I just wanted to ask Maren Belling and Susan Guerrero to come down. They have something they would like to, Maren has something she'd like to give to council, and give Susan a chance to talk about our initiative. And just to clarify, this program is available for all Globe, Miami, and Gila County residents that were impacted by the floodwaters. And so we've just been excited to take that lead and have so many join in on the effort, so to benefit our community. But Susan, do you want to start? Oh, go ahead, Maren.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I apologize to anyone in the back who can't hear us and chooses to speak over us. This evening, we are here on behalf of United Fund of Globe Miami. As many of your staff have been, the staff I work with day to day have not had a day off in 3 weeks. We are all here together. And when this event first happened and it became clear that it was catastrophic, we were told to shelter in place. There was nothing I could do. So I did some Googling and I found these buttons. And in Latin, they say, "Tossed by the waves, never sunk." It is the slogan of the city of Paris, France. And I brought these tonight for all of mayor, or for mayor and council. We passed them out to our United Fund board members today, and I've shared them with my team at work. So if you don't mind, if I can bring these to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we sure that's what it says? Only you, Fernando. Only you, Fernando.
So when we found this, we understood that Paris and Globe both have long histories, and that this was the way to bring everybody who felt like they couldn't do anything, something to remind them that together we will not sink. Susan?
I think everyone's covered everything. I'm really proud to be with United Fund. I think we have a good long history of responsible leadership, responsible stewardship with funds, and I just want to assure donors we're just working for you guys and our board, so we'll really help the businesses and homeowners and residents with our partnerships with Salvation Army and Local First Arizona.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah.
One comment, Linda, again, before you go, I think we all need to take advantage of all these fundraisers, whether United Fund, whether they're individual fundraisers that people have. And again, our staff and our experts that are here helping to maximize our return, hopefully getting to the FEMA level. That's what will bring some funding back to residents and businesses.
Yeah.
So all that in whole is not gonna make any business or any individual whole. There's gonna be losses. So that's why we wanna maximize, utilize everything you have. Fundraisers, this type of money, SBA loans, everything, so we can recover. The city is absorbing a humongous amount of money in the recovery portion. And that's why we have these teams here to help us recover, because if we have to pay all those costs that are going on right now, it would break our city. It would be tough to recover from it. So that is a process right now. I know it's long and tedious. Just be patient with us. We want to make sure we do it right the first time.
Yeah, just a comment, Mr. Mayor. In the floods of '93, the county itself had to impose a flood tax because the losses were so high and damage to the general fund occurred. To replenish it over 2 years is what the Board of Supervisors at that time had to do. So I understand the need that we have to spend money, but we have the initiative also to recover as much as we can, along with the commercials and the businesses and the residents, to replenish our general fund. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Linda, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Do we have a motion to table item F? That's the finance part of it. They weren't ready for presentation.
I'll table it. Make a motion to table.
I'll second.
Yeah, motion a second to,
Mr. Mayor, members of council, just a quick explanation. Like I say, we're in the middle of getting a lot of this together, but if any council members have any specific questions, I'd be, let me know and be happy to address those.
okay. We have motion second to table item F. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion passed. Item 4 is consent calendar. Matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. Public hearing items are designated with an asterisk. Prior to consideration of the consent agenda, the mayor will ask whether any member of the public wishes to move a public hearing item for separate consideration. Members of the council or staff may remove any item for separate consideration also. Item A, consideration of waiver of section 2-4-10A, prior discussion rule to allow action on the balance of the consent agenda. 1, accounts payable, $1,253,215.64. 2, consideration of approval of council minutes. A, consideration of July 11, 2025 special meeting minutes. B, consideration to approve the application for the no-match John Henry Eldred Junior Foundation Grant for Children's Material Services and Programming for $5,000 to fund the Books of Home program. And C, consideration of ratifying the assignment of a GL account to the October 1st, 2025 council action to approve a contingency transfer of $200,000 to the United Fund to support the Emergency Business Support Program from account number 105553000, contingency undesignated, to GL account 105554100, Emergency Business Support Program, as approved by council at the October 1st, 2025 special council meeting. Do we have anybody from the public, the staff, or council wishing to move any item for separate consideration?
I'd like to pull the minutes. There's a correction on it.
Minutes on item A, is that
Yeah.
2A?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull item 4A1, accounts payable.
Okay, for 2A and 4A and A1, okay.
And Mr. Mayor, I would like to pull items C.
Pull it off.
So much for consent.
Pull the whole thing.
Why bother?
You have the motion, did you get those down? Who wants to make that motion?
I'd make a motion to approve with items 4A1, items 2A, and item C pulled.
Okay.
Make motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda minus the items stated by Councilman Leatham. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion passed. So we'll go first to item 1A, and that's accounts payable on the $1,253,215.
The reason for pulling it is just an explanation of the public as to why it's so high.
Danny, do you want to jump up there?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The main reason that this is so high, there's two primary reasons. One of them is our monthly health insurance premiums that we pay. That was almost $160,000. And then we also have the jetter truck, payment for the jetter truck on this, and that was over $600,000. So, I mean, that's the better part of half of it, over half of it. So that's the reason it's so
Thank
high
you for
this
that
time.
explanation.
Okay. So next would be item A, minutes, meeting minutes.
Yes, they just have, Vice Mayor's name is Rhonda. And I didn't change your name, so I thought we might want to
Well,
correct
Mike.
that.
Rhonda?
That's what your name is.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's your internal code name.
Okay.
Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda.
Our clerk will make
I
that
thought you might
correction.
make that correct.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike, whatever you say.
Rhonda.
And item C, the ratification of the $200,000.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is our, as per our policy, we wanted to update council on the status of our $3 million fund balance. And so this is the first pull from this budget year's $3 million fund balance. So that leaves us at $280,000. But I just wanted to let the record show that this is the first pull, and I promised you that we would have an accounting for it in all the hubba. I didn't have anything written for you, but the math was pretty easy.
That's a
2,800,000.
2,800,000, not 280.
208, what did I say?
280.
So it's 800,000 per
Oh,
boat.
okay. No, thank you. Oh, that's for the record. All right, thank you for, so 2.8 million rather than 3 million.
Okay.
Yeah, see, this is why you keep an eye on me.
I make a motion to approve the consent
Okay.
calendar now with those 4A1, B, or A, 2A, and C.
Second.
Motion second for approval of the balance of consent agenda, the three items. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passed. We go to new business, item 5A, consideration to approve an MOU memorandum of understanding 2026-0057 between the City of Globe and United Fund of Globe Miami, INC, and number MOU 20260071 with the Local First of Arizona Foundation to assist in the distribution of the Globe Miami Relief Fund and waive section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule. And Linda, or? We're on item 5A on the MOU with the United Fund
Thank
and
you. Oh, my team left me a little too early. Thank you again. So part of this process is to set up an agreement with the United Fund to be the 501c3 that receives the funding from the City of Globe for the Business Relief Grant Program. And this, the way it will work is that when Local First does the one-on-one assessments with the businesses, they will provide to the United Fund the recommendation of the disbursements. And so, and then that will be a separate agreement with the United Fund. But this one specifically between the City of Globe and the United Fund to receive that and make sure that it is accounted for in the way that the City Council had intended it to be distributed, and that is directly to City of Globe businesses. And so the other funding will be distributed amongst the region as determined by Local First, but the City of Globe funding, the 200,000, is for businesses within the city.
Linda, I do have a call card for item 5A, and that's Mr. David Barry again. If you can state your question and Linda can repeat it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the distribution criteria is, if it's done on the amount of damage to the business, the square footage of the buildings affected, and I was just wondering what the criteria for the distribution would be.
All of the above, and that's why.
Do you want to repeat the question?
Oh, I'm sorry. So the question was, what is the distribution criteria for the Business Relief Grant Program? Is it based on square footage, damage to the building, and was there a third item?
Or any other criteria.
Okay.
And who's gonna be making those decisions?
And that'll be made by the Local First Arizona team. And that's based on the one-on-one interviews with the business owners. What kind of loss have you incurred? What is it gonna take to get you up and going and open again? So again, this is all determined by Local First Arizona.
That's your question, Dave? Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve item 5A as presented and waive the prior discussion rule.
Second.
We have a motion and second for approval of item 5A. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Thank you,
Thank
Linda.
you.
We'll go to item B. We are asking for a table list, but first I'd like to get you want to give an explanation
Yes.
why a table on this one?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is a project that has been on the schedule, but we believe that given the fact that we're going through and determining costs and all the implications of those costs, this would be pulling a little bit of money out of the enterprise fund contingency. So I thought it was wise to wait and let's see what the full impact of the flooding is before we move forward with this contract. It's just a matter of timing. This is non-critical. We need to get it done, but it's not critical, and I think it's just better that we wait and get it till we have a total picture of what our financial situation is before we ask for any additional external money outside of the fund, the flood efforts.
I can go ahead and read the item and then we'll ask for the table for the vote. This is a consideration to award contract number CS 20260051 to Earthquest Plumbing LLC to expand the water line within the city cemetery for overall cemetery expansion for an amount of $116,123.50 that was funded from account 106152012 cemetery development. So that is the item we want to table for now.
Right, we want to table, and just for our anticipation is bringing back in December.
Make a motion to table until December.
December.
I make a motion to table until December.
Second?
Motion second to table item 5B. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passed. Action item 6A is consideration to ratify contract number PS 2026-0056 with Wildan Engineering to provide flood inspections and structural assessment of affected commercial properties due to the September 26, 2025 flood event for an amount not to exceed $26,700. Funds will be tracked under account 208008 DEMA 2025 flood with possible reimbursement through available disaster relief sources such as DEMA, FEMA.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I will cover this contract. This was one of the emergency contracts, one of the first emergency contracts we put in. When we realized the commercial damage and the need to get buildings back together again, we pulled some strings, talked to Pat Walker. Pat Walker got leadership from Wildan on the phone with me, and we were able to get engineers out here very quickly, very qualified engineers, to do that evaluation that we had talked about. And so this covers the two-day cycle that we did with them based on the first flooding event. Now, and I think Tony referenced the fact that we are bringing them back out for some additional look for some of those that need to be, and that will be an additional contract. But I'd like to approve this contract and get them paid for the work they did, I think a week ago.
Is this amount commercial and residential?
It was commercial. It ended up being residential also, but they were able to cover it on the same contract. So they were very, very good to us. So we really appreciated of how fast they moved and their flexibility. This was the number they gave us, and we added the residential. They still held us at that number, so that's good.
Good.
And
go ahead.
Okay, so I just thought everybody was mispronouncing FEMA and saying DEMA. What is DEMA?
DEMA.
I know what
State
FEMA
funding.
is. It state funding?
State
Okay,
funding.
thanks. I'm like,
And-
who's
and-
DEMA?
DEMA is
Am I
emergency.
correct?
Yeah.
That's the ask for here.
DEMA is Arizona's Department of Emergency and Military Affairs, so it's two separate branches, and they're located in Phoenix at Papago Military Reservation. And then FEMA is your federal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
That's where I
I
spend
will
my time.
will add that we've been working very closely in ongoing contact with the director of DEMA, and his name is Gabe
The state director is Director Gabe Levine.
and we met with him, and he's a phone call away helping us work to navigate these processes. So kudos, so he has been very available for us, and we really do appreciate that.
Okay, good. A motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to ratify contract number PS 2026-0056 to Wildan Engineering.
Second.
We have motion second for approval of item 6A. Is there any further discussion? I just want to make a comment under this. The city is the one that hired this engineer. The private owners have the option to hire their own engineer if they don't agree with some of the findings, I would think.
Absolutely. We're waiting for the results. They did their analysis, and they're not just saying what the condition is, but kind of why. And so they're putting together summaries for each of the buildings, and we had hoped to have them available by tonight, but we expect to have them this week.
And those will be readily for the public to.
Right, and we will share, well, primarily for the homeowners, or not homeowners, the business owners that have done that. Now, what we want to do is we do have additional damage, we believe, from the second flood. And so we are contracting to get the same structural engineer to come out. And so we'll have that same person take a look at it and see if anything's changed.
Okay.
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. These tools tonight that have been reviewed and discussed were not available 30 years ago. So everything that has come to bear, I'm very pleased to see, and that the expertise can be brought quickly to bear on our scenarios. I really appreciate the improvements that have been made over the years. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passed. Item B is consideration of possible approval of change order number 1 to contract number CS 0028 with Pumpman Phoenix for the new ground pump and motor assembly project in the amount of $217.76 to be funded from account 508052001 well and pump repair.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This change order actually just is making the adjustment for the delivery cost for the item that was up. So the pump has been repaired. It was just the adjustment that we needed to do for delivery for the equipment, for the freight charge. So that's what this entails.
Good to see a small number.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know, that's.
I know, it's like, wow, that's a bargain.
It's to cover the freight
Chump
charge.
change,
That wasn't adjusted when they actually did the purchase in the work order, so we just needed to include that.
Let this one slip through. So, but Mr. Mayor, members of council, council has expressed a desire to see all change orders. If you approve an amount and we go over that amount, and that's a change order, we will come back to you and share and have you approve that, even a small amount. We sometimes put contingencies, and if we go past the contingency, then we need to do that also. So,
Mayor, I move to approve item 6B.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item 6B. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Item C is discussion and consideration to issue an invitation for bid number CS 2026-0050 for Jess Hayes Sidewalk Project and move forward with advertisement. Funds for this project will come from account number 2080522200, grant-funded capital outlay funded through the state appropriated funds under grant GS 2461050012, activity code number 161008. John.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is going to that next level and step. So Luis and Travis have been point on this item, but we're just asking to go ahead and finally get to this point to put this out for bid. We may possibly have to come back and redo some reevaluation. As we know with the Jess Hayes Road, there's some drainage that we've already spoke with the contractor or in the design work. But so we will come back with possibly a little bit more detail, but this is to initiate and get your approval to put this out there to start taking, put this for advertising.
Fernando.
So, I understand that they kind of came up with the concept of the bulk of the work, but isn't there a public process where they engage the residents around there? We haven't got to that stage, right? This comes first?
No, we've actually had, when we had their public meeting, there have been a lot of the engagement when we had our public meeting, when we actually had that here, that a lot of the questions have been, and they've gotten back with the public.
Oh, I thought you were gonna have like a community meeting or something, not just what we talked about in City Hall. Okay.
Well, we actually did have
did
our
have a-
public meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a public meeting.
yeah, it was here, and they had maps of the whole project, and then they could supplied individual maps to
Oh,
each
okay.
property.
I
And it
missed
was,
that.
it was early on enough to where they could have I think it was at either 30% design or
Yes.
60%. So if there were changes and enlightenment, they found something and they were identified, it was early enough to make changes.
Okay, so
But,
There were a lot of residents here from the Jess Hayes Road.
yeah.
okay, yeah, I just,
You're at a conference.
oh, I was at a conference.
Stay home.
Yeah, so a lot of the questions when the residents were we approached on the design part, they actually contacted them, they did a lot of site visits. The thing that actually took a little bit longer is upon the design, there was actually some utility issues, and then they wanted to follow up and do some additional research on the drainage. So we're still kind of on, the utilities have been kind of planned out, but we still need to we want to make sure in light of everything that's just happened recently, that we don't foresee any other additional items, that we may with the sidewalk project.
Okay.
Great.
Mayor, if no other questions or comments, I'd motion to approve item 6C as read.
Second.
We have motion second for approval of item 6C. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Item 7, any late agenda items? We have none.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
And number 8 is second call to the public. Do we have anybody online or?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. We have one from the audience.
I'd like to be very brief.
You
Go
gotta
ahead
come up
and
to
stand
the-
up there, so.
I don't need a mic.
No,
Well,
because
you
you
wanna-
wanna-
This is for the public.
So they call me Mr. Call to Action across the internet, and my board knows I'm really good at dumping work on them. So number one, if you all want to choose number one, number two, number three priority, no promises. But if you get it to your clerk, Shelley, we ought to involve Mark and Ruben. And I may be working with them, so if you give me the 1, 2, 3 priorities, I'd be glad to represent you. Number two, I don't know how many counties there are. I think there's 17?
15.
15. Do you know how many have casinos?
We can't carry conversation. You can make your comments,
We
we're on
can't
call
talk
to the
for-
Oh,
public.
I'm sorry, yeah. What I'd like is you to assign an individual to get on the phone and call every county that has a casino, because by law, the natural American natives have to deliver 10% of their profits. And it's approved by, I know it's approved by Canal County and others. So that would be a super source of funding for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, members, go ahead, thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, members of council, just to, city manager moment to clarify, we are aware of those 12% grants that are available through many of the tribal nations, and we actively pursue those.
Is there anybody online on email
yes.
or text?
I have 2 emails.
Okay.
And I don't know if we have anything here, but let me go ahead and read the 2 emails. Do you have anything? No. Okay. So, this is from Tracy Quick. It says, I've heard the rumors that Apache G as well as Halloween are going to be canceled. I recognize that city staff is very busy. I'd like to suggest that we know how the citizens of the city will deliver if volunteers are needed. Don't let the series of unfortunate, uncontrollable events ruin this season. Ask us to step in and fill the roles that are necessary to keep both of these events alive. Thank you, Tracy Quick. And let's see here. And then this is from Amy Marie Leon, and says, hello. I do have a question. Will there be any help for those? And again, this is, call the public. So will there be any help for those in Jess Hayes area and any other hard-hit areas that have that have to demolish their houses due to the flood because they are no longer livable? Will the creek along Jess Hayes Road be reinforced and fixed by the city? Or will that be up to the homeowners that live up against the creek? Any help answering these questions is greatly appreciated. And then we can email her back some responses once this is up.
That'd be great, yeah, email or set up a meeting with her or something.
Okay.
Thank you. Scheduling of meetings. Do we have any which we need to schedule?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, in the mechanics of the dates coming up, we would like to consider to cancel the formal November 11th and November 25th council meetings and schedule a November 18th, which is right in the middle of that, to observe Veterans Day holiday and the Thanksgiving holiday. And if need be, you guys are always very available. If we need to have a special to handle anything as part of the flood response or anything like that, we can do that. But as a formal evening meeting, we'd like to take the 2 Novembers and combine them into the middle.
So we'll have one.
One in November, and then we're gonna look at December also. But for now, we would like to get this set up. So
So we were gonna meet on November what?
we meet on Tuesday, November 18th. Is it Tuesday? Yeah.
So we're gonna have a meeting from 6 to 2 in the morning?
Could be 18th, 19th if you you say the right code word.
Rhonda.
Rhonda.
Oh, yeah, get a new name badge.
Yeah, we'll get you a new one just for
We're
your
just gonna
money.
have one meeting.
One meeting in November.
And that'll be November 18th.
Is council,
Are we good with that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes.
And if we have to have one in between somewhere,
You'll call us.
Yeah, oh yeah, we will. And you are always so great about if we need something, we can turn it around in 48 hours. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
thank you.
Good.
Item 10 is future agenda items. Anybody have any for the future? This one?
Right
And
now.
Mayor, I would like to just let everyone know, there are a lot of future agenda items that will come out of this event. I do believe that we will talk more about efforts to do some long-term improvements on this, conversations about kind of an analysis of the flood event, so we know what hit us, so we can plan for that, and many other events related to that. So this meeting is on the current status, but we will in the future have many discussions about how we better prepare for the future.
Okay.
Good. Jesse's gone.
ADOT just opened up the road between us and Superior.
Oh, they did?
One lane.
ADOT just opened up the road between us
thank
and
God.
Superior with one lane alternating.
So they have.
Good.
Wow.
That's
Our
good news.
understanding,
Yes.
They needed to do,
Well, thank you to ADOT.
yeah,
Getting that done.
yeah, that's, wow.
That's good news.
quick. The engineers got out there, figured it out, and that's
Yeah.
good news.
Good. Thank you,
And,
Justin.
so that's all we have for future agenda items.
Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Motion made.
Second.
Motion and second to go into E-session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. And
Opposed, nay?
Oh, go ahead. And then, Mr. Mayor, before we cut off,